welcome to our next session, high-speed application development. And I like to start with a really serious topic, and it's because we have war again in Europe. We have currently a gas crisis in Germany, in particular, in all Europe. And so, yeah, perhaps we will have an energy crisis in winter. We have an inflation that grows more and more. Perhaps we get a corporate crisis, companies becoming bankrupt. It's really, it gets worse and worse. And in this session, I like to talk about what can companies do to survive in the future. My name is Markus Kett, and I'm CEO and co-founder of Microservices. So with my team, we're working on Java development environments and database development tools for decades, for almost 20 years now. And I met so many companies, and we talked about modernizing software applications, legacy applications, migrating legacy technology, legacy software to Java. And they all had the same problem. They were afraid of migrating to Java. They were afraid to take the investment, the effort to renew their business critical software applications. But currently, we are now in a situation that many companies will die in the future. So it has just begun. And I'm very convinced that many companies can avoid this by digitalization their complete processes and or the entire company. And we have the tools and the possibility to do that, and we have the know-how to do that. And this is what I want to talk about. So first of all, why digital transformation? Why is this important? And then I like to talk about how does high-speed application development works? What does this mean, and how does this work? I like to show you how you can save tons of costs, infrastructure costs, and by using cloud-native technologies. And then I like to talk about how to proceed. And of course, we will have some time for Q&A. Digital transformation is, actually a buzzword we hear for many years, and for many people, it's a really boring buzzword already. But it's more and more important to realize and to what is actually what does this mean, digital transformation, actually for companies, and how is the way to go. So you can do this by building new software application, of course, creating more and more new software application to digitalize manual expensive processes, to transform these processes in convenient software to save effort, time, and costs. And of course, modernizing the business critical solutions. So there are so many Oracle Forms users, so many companies using Oracle Forms, and they have business critical applications, and they know that these applications are legacy applications. They know that Oracle someday, one day will finish the support, but they are not willing to modernize their applications. So because it was not really necessary to do that, but perhaps some of these companies won't exist perhaps in the next few months or the next few years. So the only way to survive is to transform the entire company into a digital business. And this is the way many companies will be able to survive, to transform really their manufacturer business into a digital business. So don't get me wrong. So I'm not I don't know everything. So I'm not Jesus. But what I've learned is there are so many examples in the market where companies were able to transform their business. They did it already and become even a market leader. So, and I'm really convinced that this is the way to go. So here are some examples. You all know about Amazon. They started as a bookstore, and so to found a digital business, to make a digital business, to create an e-commerce, to create a web shop, starting with an online shop, and now it's the leading e-commerce platform on the planet. Then everybody knows about AWS. It's a complete different business, and so this was the reason why now Amazon is a market leader in digital business. The same with Tesla. So Tesla, of course, is a car manufacturer. But what's the difference between Tesla and let's say all the other car manufacturers? So Tesla is actually a software company, and now they're an energy company, and they deal with certificates. So they make revenue not only with selling cars and producing cars. So they transform their classic traditional manufacturer business into a digital business. So they still produce cars, of course, but so it's all about software. It's all about internet, connecting all the cars. It's all about big data, energy. Or Lego is also a great example. So Lego is actually a toy manufacturer, but now they're producing movies, they're producing video games and apps. So actually you can transfer all manufacturer business into a digital business. So the most important thing here, of course, is a great idea. We have BMW, so also a car manufacturer, but now they have also with Drive Now a car sharing service. So, and if you're not able to do your manufacturer business anymore because of increasing energy costs or costs for your infrastructure, salary, then you should transform your business into a digital business. So in my opinion, this is the way to go, and this is the way to survive in the future. And so there are some ideas. So I cannot tell you what's the best idea to transform your traditional business into a digital business. So what you should do is ask all of your employees what are good ideas, to find a good idea to modernize, starting with modernizing the manual processes into software. And perhaps there is a great idea where we can transform the entire company, where we find a complete another digital business. So for example, we have one of our customers is a hospital, and this hospital needs a complete new software, and now they're thinking about transforming their entire business and becoming a vendor for hospital software. So this is a great idea, and the only thing what we have to do is building a new great software. It's not the only thing we have to do. It's complicated, it's effortful, of course, but for many enterprises, this will be the only way to survive. And this is actually what startups do. And this is why startups are often so successful and able to become a market leader. For instance, you can start with a new hotel. Yeah, you can build up a new hotel, beautiful, and you can have the great service, and you can have great margin. But perhaps it's more effective to create a platform for hotels like Booking.com. So this is much more powerful, and this is the reason actually why the Silicon Valley venture capital firms, they are looking for such platform businesses and to become a monopoly and dominate the entire market. This is not, this don't have to be your goal, but this can be a way to go and to transform your business and to survive in really in a world that is more and more complicated for traditional companies. So there are many examples. Most ideas are platforms or apps, and sometimes this kind of software is not that complicated to build. So there are some hints. So you can start with modernizing essential, or actually you should modernize essential software and existing software that is mission critical. So if there is any legacy application in your company and colleagues or the decision makers are thinking about modernizing this kind of software for many years, then tell them, let's do it now. This is the right timing. So let's do it now, and let's create the perfect software, and let's take the risk and invest the budget. As I mentioned before, you should collect creative ideas and ask all employees, business partners, customers, consultants, how can we build a digital business? Yeah, of course, you need a realistic budget for that. So the decision makers, they have to take the investment. So this makes no sense if they say, okay, let's spend 1 or 2 weeks and hack something, and then let's see. I would recommend found a startup-like team in your own company to work like a startup, be agile with a flat hierarchy, and of course select makers, people who want to build something new, something incredible. And yeah, this is the way to go, and create a plan and start implementing immediately. And we have the tools for that. I mean, I mean the entire Java community. We have great tools. We have great language, programming language, to build everything we need for a digital business. The only thing is, are we willing to do that, and are the decisions makers are willing to do that? Because challenges are everywhere, right? So I need manpower for that. Oh, I need Java developers. Oh, it should run in the cloud. This means I need cloud experts. I need the DevOps stuff. Oh my goodness, this is so hard to learn. There are so many things to know, and I need database experts, of course. And they have to know. They need the experience for many years. So startups don't think like this way. So startups, they don't think about what can go wrong. The startups, they have an idea and they do it, and they work day and night, and they have fun with programming, for instance, and then create incredible software that changes everything. And this is the way to go. Time, effort, cost of development, and so on. So tell your decision makers they should think like a startup and let do you the job. We have solutions in the Java ecosystem, because Java, almost everything is open source, right? So you can choose all of these solutions and get started immediately, not to think about what can go wrong, or is this a beautiful code? Can I do? Would I be able to code this much more beautiful? This is not the thing that counts today. It's let's do it. So as soon as possible, as fast as possible, yeah, to push our company forward. We have low-code in development environments, and this is one part I want to talk about is RapidClipse. So I can name all the other low-code environments or similar software solutions. So take whatever you like. Take Oracle OPEX, for instance, if you're an Oracle developer. So all the other development environments are great. So in Java we have RapidClipse, that's Eclipse based. It's completely free. It's open source. So check it out, use it. It's great for that. Then you need a process template. So I met so many companies, and they had great ideas to modernize the software, but they had no plan how to proceed, because they had 4GL developers. They had not the right team to do that. So how should they start? So you need a process template, and then do it immediately. It contains training, support, consulting, implementing, maintenance. So many developers, they don't want to use a support, professional enterprise support, because why should I ask anybody? So I have a support contract, but why should I actually ask someone? I can do it for my own. So I hack something. You can do that. So that's great, because developers are developers. So we want to hack. So, but sometimes you waste your time. Yeah, it's much more easy to ask an expert and get an answer immediately, or to find an issue immediately, instead of searching the issue for a week or so, or if you evaluate software, you can do it for your own, of course, but you can also make an appointment with an expert and go through the software via a Zoom call in 1 or 2 hours. Ask your questions. This should be the way to go. And it's the same with training. Yeah, of course you can learn all this cloud stuff and this DevOps stuff for your own. You can read in the internet. You will find everything in the internet. That's great. You can do that. But perhaps your time, the time you spend is much more expensive than booking a training or an online training course. But you need a template for that. Go through step by step until your team is able to start implementing. And then with implementing, it's the same. You need a clear plan how to proceed, how to implement a modern software. As I mentioned, RapidClipse is a tool that you can use for. It's a visual development environment, and it works similar to Visual Basic, for instance. So who of you have ever worked with Visual Basic will be able to work with RapidClipse. And all these Oracle Forms developers, Fox Pro developers, they will be able to build graphical user interfaces with RapidClipse. But the end result with RapidClipse is a Java application based on Vaadin, which means the code will look like the same as the code written by an experienced Java programmer. So there is no difference. Perhaps there will be some more methods you perhaps don't know, don't need, or perhaps, yeah, you can write your code by hand more beautiful, perhaps. But the great thing with code generator is that you can drag and drop your user interface. It generates the code, and if you do this 10 times, then 10 times the code will look like the same. If you have 10 developers, they should code a graphic user interface, look at the code, who can maintain this code? I don't know. So this is more individual. It's super expensive. And this is the way, this is the reason why I'm convinced experienced Java developers should focus more on the core, more on the server side. This is more important because they're on the business logic, because there is no tool available that creates your business logic, right? So, but graphical user interfaces can be created by drag and drop and by code generators. That's my personal opinion. It's because I've worked on these graphical user interface builders for more than 15 years now. So we started with the XDev IDE, we created a complete IDE based on Swing, then we migrated to Eclipse. We started to create a graphical user interface in a builder based on Vaadin. And now RapidClipse version 11 is out. And as I mentioned, it's completely open source. The framework is open source. The tooling is free. And so I didn't discuss this already with the other contributors of the RapidClipse project already, but I have in mind to become a an Eclipse top level domain, that the entire IDE is also open source, but these are plans. So RapidClipse is already used by many companies out there. They build business applications, mostly, of course, database applications, data-driven applications, and in particular with Alliance in Munich, we have some projects, and they say that without RapidClipse, it would not be possible to create the software they need, because they have not enough budget actually for coding the entire software by hand. So actually, this would not be possible to create such software in this amount of time. With RapidClipse, we can do that because it's we do it with drag and drop in a graphical way, so it's super easy. It's like a graphical program, so it's similar to, let's say, PowerPoint or so. And RapidClipse also provides the data binding to your entity classes. And it's not only a GUI builder. So the previous Java development environments like NetBeans also had always a great GUI builder, but the problem was you were able to create a beautiful user interface, but how to show data on a screen? Then you have to code it, then you have to be a hybrid expert, and this is challenging for 4GL developers migrating to Java, or for designers. With RapidClipse, you get a data binding out of the box, and it's super easy to bring the data on the screen. And with RapidClipse, we are able to save more than 80% time, development time, testing time, maintenance, and infrastructure costs as well. Faster time to market, and this is really not a marketing number. This is reality. RapidClipse is a code generator, so this is not it's not a platform like Oracle Apex, for instance, which means you can design your graphical user interfaces completely freely by drag and drop. So you can do whatever you like. The only limitation is Vaadin itself. So because it bases on Vaadin, RapidClipse generates Vaadin code. So what you can do with Vaadin, this is possible with RapidClipse. What is not possible with Vaadin, you can not do that. But the platforms mostly, they offer you already complete look and feel. So mostly they're already built masks or user interfaces. You can fill in with data, but you're mostly not able to create a completely individual form or user interface. So this is the biggest difference, and another differences are that RapidClipse creates the code, but you're not forced to use Eclipse RapidClipse. So if you like to migrate to, let's say, Visual Studio Code, which is also a great development environment for Java developers, then you can take the code, you can continue developing with Visual Studio Code or the development environment of your choice. So you can do that anytime. So you're not forced to keep RapidClipse. It's a pre-configured, complete Eclipse distribution out of the box. You can compare it with Linux. So you can download Linux. You can download the source code, compile it for yourself. You can also take Linux distribution that you can install out of the box, which is much more convenient and easier. And it's the same with RapidClipse. So you can take all the Eclipse plugins you need and you install it and you configure it, and it will takes you hours or sometimes days to configure your Eclipse environment. This is different with RapidClipse. So all the plugins you need are already pre-installed and pre-configured, and it's the same with updates. So sometimes there are, or very often there are updates. Of course, we have regular updates of Eclipse. Then we have updates circles of the all these plugins, and sometimes they don't fit together, or you have issues. So with Eclipse, it's a common problem. But with RapidClipse, it's completely different. So you get a completely pre-configured and stable development environment out of the box by installing only open only a zip file. That's it. So now we are in version 11. We have built a completely new GUI builder based on Vaadin version 14. We use Vaadin as a GUI framework so that you're able to build your graphical user interface completely with Java. And the HTML client is created by Vaadin dynamically through runtime on a server. RapidClipse also contains Hibernate tools because of Eclipse delivers the JBoss Hibernate tools. So most of you will be familiar with the JBoss Hibernate tools, I guess. With RapidClipse, we worked on optimizing and simplifying the JBoss Hibernate tools because we had many issues with that. So, for instance, if you create your entity classes by importing a database table, let's say from PostgreSQL, then mostly we have many issues after you import, and it's because of the data types. So in PostgreSQL, we have around 40 data types. In Java, we have a handful of data types. So what should the tooling do with all these unknown data types? You have to map it for yourself. And with RapidClipse, we have fixed it. So you can start the database import with the RapidClipse, and RapidClipse will import the metadata from your database tables, generate the entity classes, and do the mapping for you, and you have an error-free database import. So that's great, and will save you a lot of time. And by the way, it's all of these features are only options. So you can use it, but you don't have to use it. So some people only use this RapidClipse hybrid import and don't use anything of Eclipse, of RapidClipse. Some developers only use a graphical user interface in a builder, and some people only use the RapidClipse framework and not the GUI builder. So it depends on you, and you can decide this. So you don't have to use the tools. You can do, you can use it if it's useful for you, but as I mentioned, it's not mandatory. RapidClipse provides also a framework that is completely open source, and it's because this is much more convenient and goes more in detail, and it's really customized and optimized to combine Vaadin with Hibernate and RapidClipse. With MicroStream. The end result will be a web application. You can run cross-platforms, so on mobile devices and in a browser. And here are the core technologies that are used by RapidClipse. So what's in RapidClipse? We use Vaadin 14. It's based on web components, which means you get out of the box beautiful web components. You can style individual with CSS and all of these with drag and drop. Super easy to use. We added the Google charts, so the Google charts can be used in RapidClipse completely for free, so you don't have to pay any license fees. So there are no charge-based components, no proprietary code. So everything is free. Then what else? We have layout manager. We have a filter component, a form generator, wizards for validation, conversion, data conversion. Then you can configure really everything in the GUI builder. Also for localization, for instance, that's provided by RapidClipse. Then we have also the possibility to write the UI code in XML. So most Java developers don't like it, but you can do that basically. Then we have a live preview for mobile devices, and so on and so on. And the most important thing is to accelerate, because of my talk is about high-speed application development. And it's possible because of the Hibernate tools we optimized in Eclipse. I mentioned this already. These are based on the JBoss Hibernate tools. So we added the database import, or improved the database import, but that's not all. We also provide a complete cache integration, and so the hybrid second level cache is already pre-installed, pre-configured, so that you don't have to do anything. So you can, you have to know what you are doing, because if you make any mistakes, then perhaps your performance goes down. But you can, of course, change your cache configuration, and so you can do everything by coding, of course. But it's initially it's pre-installed, pre-configured, that you don't have to do anything. You can also now use MicroStream as a second level cache, as a hybrid second level cache. So this sounds really strange, because of MicroStream is also a persistence library basically similar to Hibernate, but it's not the object relational mapping framework. MicroStream is more persistence layer based on serialization, but it's also a JPA cache provider. So it's JPA cache compatible, so you can use it as a Hibernate second level cache. And it's much faster than cache, so you can use it as a drop-in replacement to accelerate your Hibernate-based database applications. I mentioned before, we have an entity editor. You can create your entities. So this is easy for GL developers moving to Java. It creates the Hibernate entity code automatically, and you can change the code, and it will be updated in the wizard. So it's bi-directional. That's cool. We also added a new query language. Yes, another new query language. Why? It's because we saw that most Java developers, they use JPQL or something like that to write the queries. And very often we can see the SQL in a string. And actually in Java, we hate if code is not type safe. But if you have SQL strings, it's not type safe. So the compiler is not able to support you, and you cannot, it's not, you don't know if your query will be executed. You can see it through runtime. So that's not really cool. But we have, fortunately, we have type safe query language. It's JPA criteria. You can see it below. But the code is ugly. So most people don't want to use JPA criteria because, it's too much code to write. So, but it's type safe. So what should we do? This was the reason why we created JPA SQL. It's kind of like JPA. It's a kind of like SQL dialect. So you write SQL syntax, and the tooling generates the JPA criteria code. And through runtime, Hibernate creates the SQL. But it works great, and it's really much easier than writing criteria code, or to write not type safe or use not type safe SQL strings. That's provided by RapidClipse. And then we have an application framework that provides you the entire architecture, filter API, lazy loading through all layers, and so on and so on. The architecture is simple. So we have a classic monolith application. You need a servlet to run Vaadin, a servlet container to run Vaadin. Of course, if you use a relational database, then you can use Hibernate, cache, or MicroStream instead of cache. And the Vaadin server creates the HTML user interface and delivers it to the browser. That's it. With RapidClipse, you also can replace the relational database and to simplify database development by using MicroStream, which is much more easy, much more convenient in comparison to Hibernate and the relational database. It's completely different. The reason why we have developed RapidClipse is that we wanted to simplify database development radically, and we wanted to accelerate database applications radically. But it was not possible by using Hibernate and cache. The reason is object relational mapping is very expensive. So in Java, we use objects for everything. But as soon as we want to store data, then we use relational databases, and relational databases, tables are completely incompatible with Java object graph. So it's not possible to store a complex object graph in a table. So this is the reason why we need object relational mapping. But as I mentioned, it's expensive, and it's because through every single read and write, either the framework has to create SQL or vice versa objects. So because a database system is very fast, it sends you the result set, but then the object has to be created, and this is another delay, and this is the reason why your query time mostly doubles. It's because of object relational mapping. If you don't believe that, try it out. So we measured the time many times, and it's really incredible. So nobody thinks about it. All the performance demos are, they are based on the database. So we measure how fast the database is, but nobody measures time. How long does it take to create the objects? So you can check it out by store a result set in a local cache, read it from the cache, and which means you read it directly from memory. And how long does it take to read an object, a result set from the memory? It should actually take microseconds, right? It's because it's memory. But sometimes it's only milliseconds. Why? It's because of the data are serialized, have to be deserialized into the local cache. So actually, this is not really fast. So this is really expensive, and there are another trade-offs. So impedance mismatches. You have to adapt your object model to the relational model. Yeah, you can choose a NoSQL database, but whatever database you use, all of these data structure or formats are also incompatible with object graphs. So in document-based databases, we use JSON mostly, or XML. So there is a data conversion. There's no object relation mapping, but there is data conversion. We have the same delays as well. And this latency costs to much more CPU power, much more CPU consumption, and increases your cost of infrastructure, of course. So, but because you need bigger machines, and this is the reason why when we talk about query time, we mostly talk about milliseconds. We always talk about milliseconds. Even if you use distributed caches, or if you use in-memory data grids, because of we talk about in-memory, and they keep the data in memory, but you have to go through network. And this is the reason why it's not comparable with real RAM performance. With MicroStream, we have a completely different approach. So with MicroStream, we keep the system state in a memory, we keep the objects in memory, we allow to build any object model. So build your object model completely freely. It's super simple. You don't have to adapt your classes, just POJOs, no annotations, no interfaces to implement, no super classes, just POJOs. Do whatever you like, use inheritance, use circular references, all Java types, and store it. That's it. Super simple, only one store method. And if I want to load objects, just call get methods, and the engine cares for rest. Loads your object graph, but mostly subgraphs with lazy loading, by using lazy loading, and restore the object graph and or the subgraph in memory again. And then magic happens. Then you're able suddenly to use your object graph like an in-memory database, but it's a pure Java, core Java in-memory database. Yeah, because you have your object graph. This is a perfect data structure, by the way. It's multi-model data structure. You can use collections, you can use almost everything that's possible in Java. And then you can search your object graph with Streams API. And we had a talk already this morning about streams, Java streams, great talk. The benefit is that searching object graph with Streams API is so performant. It's super fast. So we talk about microsecond query times. It's because of core Java. It's because the JVM is that fast. And the only thing missing in Java is actually a way, a concept to store an object as it is. And this is what Microstream actually does. So we eliminate all data conversion, all mappings. And so this is the reason why this is simple to implement. We enable data processing in memory with pure Java, and this is the reason why it's so incredibly fast. So you can check it out. It's completely open source. You can check it out, try it. So I can show you a performance demo. Here we have two applications running. One is built with Hibernate and cache. It's, by the way, it's a bookstore demo. You can find the code on GitHub. We have about 250 gigabyte data. And we have an Oracle database. So both applications use this infrastructure. The other application, second application, is built with Microstream as a persistence layer instead of Hibernate and cache. So with Microstream, we don't need a local cache anymore. So Adam is already waiting. So give me two more minutes, please. And here we can see the query code that is executed. And by the way, this is a hot cache. So we read data, we read the results directly from a local cache. You can see all of your queries are executed, sometimes 200x faster, sometimes 1000x faster, sometimes only 10x faster. And this is incredible. So this is incredible performance, and you can have it super easily. It's because it's pure Java. It's only Streams API with a great object model. You can build it freely, pure Java, and Microstream only stores the objects and reloads the objects, and that's it. It's super easy to learn. So the learning curve is super flat in comparison to Hibernate. You can use RapidClipse to build graphical user interfaces. You can use the Hibernate tools of RapidClipse. You can use Microstream as a persistence layer. So we have great tools to speed up database development or application development. And this is the reason why I'm really convinced that Java is a great technology to digitalize all of your applications or your entire company. Use it, check it out, and build great software. Thank you for joining the session. Have a great day.